Hello, and welcome to Me First Marketing, a journey into what makes marketing tick. Happy Thursday. I am happy to introduce Bart Foreman, our executive strategist. I am Jenny Lassi, our digital marketing strategist for Infinity Direct. And we are going to go through some administrative notes today. Bathrooms are to your left. We have a chat box you can use throughout the session to enter any questions that come to mind, and we'll ask for your feedback after the session. The session is being recorded and all lines will be muted during the presentation. So who is Infinity Direct? A modern direct marketing agency that develops and executes client-specific marketing initiatives for government agencies, commercial clients, and nonprofit organizations. So we do have a GSA schedule, which is right there. Now, why is Infinity Direct quote-unquote modern? We use data to get to the root core of your marketing issues. Data leads and feeds everything that we do. We transform data into an action-oriented roadmap. We develop creative to inspire positive end-user actions. And we always deploy the right assets to deliver the right message to the right audience through the right channels. That's digital, print, and video. And we understand Me First isn't about you, it's about me, the brand. And on that note, I would like to turn this over to Bart Foreman, our executive strategist. Bart, take it away.
Thank you, Jenny. Let's talk about me, the brand, for a moment. Marketing's job, and it's really its only job, is to make me first. In other words, make your brand first. And equally important, to keep me first. Because no one remembers the silver medal winner. If I'm not first, another brand is. Think about Hertz and Avis. Hertz has been saying forever, we're number one. Avis keeps saying, we try harder. Why is Hertz still number one? You know the answer. Think about Everready and Duracell. When you think about Everready batteries, you think about the Energizer Buddy. When you think about Duracell, you think about trust and the copper top. Which is more impactful? Obviously, Everready has stayed number one for a long time. In today's journey, we're going to talk about a number of things, starting with campaigns and why they're not enough. We're going to talk about omni-channel and digital, and hopefully we'll understand why a holistic view of marketing will trump omni-channel and digital. From there, we'll talk about what we call the winning edge. How are you going to get to be number one, and how are you going to stay engaged with your customers? So let's start with marketing campaigns. The orientation has always been trade orientation with marketing campaigns or consumer end user campaigns. When I talk about focus, it's really short-term focus. Campaigns are placeholders in the brand's timeline. They address usually a specific need, and then they're off to a new need. So these needs are usually short-term, and they're usually about sales, whether they're trial sales with new customers, whether they're repeat sales. The boss comes in and said, we need more sales. Everyone says, what do we do now? Let's have a campaign. So we need a paradigm shift. We need to go from the thinking of short-term campaigns and short-term needs and sales to a longer-term growth sustaining opportunity that will allow us to sustain growth over a long period of time. Marketing campaigns are not journey-focused. You can see from this little graphic here, that the journey is not a straight line. It's full of ups and downs. And each one is a snapshot. And what we try to do as we look at journey maps is we try to apply sales campaigns short term to create sales results instead of looking at the longer term picture, which is long-term growth. To do that, we have to identify the key performance indicators, the metrics that will lead to sustaining growth. It's not just about sales. It's about the number of customers that are buying your products. Is that number going up? Is it going down? Is it static? Spending, up, down, static. How often do your customers spend? It's sort of like a shopping basket analysis that we have to do and understand if that shopping basket is growing or declining. To do that, we, the brand, has to engage our marketing efforts for long-term growth and determine what kind of level of brand involvement each brand is going to have in this opportunity. So our key takeaways become pretty standardly straightforward. Start a dialogue at the brand level, at the category level, and be first in starting that dialogue. Be first to focus a buyer's attention on our brand. We may not be number one in sales. We may not be number one in a number of categories, but we can always be first at engagement because we're not going to go away. Why? Because we always have a new story to tell. And that leads to marketing as a key takeaway, because what is marketing? We define marketing pretty straightforwardly as what we do to influence emotions and engagement to inspire the next sale. Keep that thought in mind as we continue on this journey and talk about marketing dynamics, because they're always in motion. They shape me first marketing. We talk about data a lot. Data tracks the dynamics of your brand and the marketplace and where you fit in the marketplace. Data points, static. They're nice to know. They don't mean a darn thing. What means a lot are the trends, because it's the trends that lead the way. So understand, with regard to me first marketing, that it's driven by data, and that forces the brand to have a long-term view. Never forget your data. Never forget your data is always in motion and dynamic. Brands are vulnerable. Very simply stated, they're vulnerable. Every brand's call to action has to be me first. However you create your creative and your copy, it's all about being first and me first. So stay focused on the numbers because they point the way. But trends don't answer why, they just answer what. Let me give you a quick example. The iGen cohort, those young people born between 1995, 1996, and 2010. Some people call them the Generation Z. I don't particularly like that because it sounds like it's the end of the world. But this cohort, which is about 25% of the American population right now, and some of them are already coming into their 20s, all right? Some of them are already graduating from college. So we have to think about them and not just rely on our thinking about millennials, because they're making their own changes in terms of rules of personal relationships. We see a significant drop in teen sex in the iGen cohort. We see a significant drop in teen pregnancies. And you're saying, why am I going down this path? Think about yourself, put your diapers brand manager category hat on, and let's go on this journey together and understand, how is the diapers category being affected by the fact that we have less sex, we have less teen pregnancies? What's our me first marketing response going to be? Because throw tradition out the window because it doesn't apply anymore. So we have to come up with new ideas, because the trade has cut allocated space. They've reduced SKUs. There's less promotion and inventory. And guess what? Empty shelves do not move product, and they're looking for replacements. So current competition, all of you folks now with your diapers hat on, are fighting for space. You're all yelling to be first, me first, and you're trying to come up with improved products. Coming up with improved products is good, but it doesn't solve the issue, because we have less demand. And all improved products do for a brand basically is knock out your existing products. So we don't want to just focus on that. We've got some major challenges here. And on top of that, let's overlay that with new competition. Where'd they come from? They came into your marketplace because they're filling a void in the store. Not necessarily a need, but a void. And that need may not be diapers. So the Me First marketing challenge is pretty straightforward. We have to create sustaining campaigns to, one, protect your diaper brand, but more important, to develop strategies. And here's the oxymoron. We need to grow our diaper brand in a shrinking market. Grow your brand in a shrinking market. That's not an easy task. So that's why we talked about holistic strategies that allow brands to stay connected and engaged with their customers. I spoke earlier about omni-channel. I want to come back to that for a moment because I'm going to say that a holistic strategy will always trump omni-channel. Omni-channel is a great buzzword, okay, but it's not a marketing strategy. It's a tactic that was designed in concept to line up all the buying and media channels so they were seamless, consistent, and overlapping. Consistent here was really the key word because in the early days of e-commerce, customers had one price, brick and mortar had another price, messages were different, and people were confused. So we sort of created this idea of omni-channel to bring it all together, and then we called it a strategy, but it really is a tactic. It's been hijacked from its original intent, and we'll see that always continue. Digital, I mentioned digital earlier, as in digital marketing. Digital, I hate to say it when it comes to digital marketing, doesn't exist. There is no such thing as digital marketing. Digital is not a strategy, it's a process. It's a process that employs basically electronic systems to deliver data-focused outcomes that can be used to create marketing strategies from beginning to end. I just did an 8-hour workshop for the Department of Defense, one of their agencies, talking about digital marketing, and it was the most eye-opening presentation I ever gave because everyone was so intent on creating digital marketing strategies, mostly around social, and I said, wait a minute, you're the Department of Defense. So think about these ideas as we continue on, because digital, while it gives the team the ability to be fast, which is so important, to be flexible and variable, to react to me-first outcomes, is still a process, not a strategy. So we've gone on for a while. Why me-first marketing? Well, it captures and it holds emotions, and emotions are so critical in marketing. It evolves to encompass cultural, economic, technological changes. We don't really care how this all comes to pass as long as we focus on me first. It challenges marketing to go further, and that creates the winning edge. And this becomes one of our final takeaways. It embraces the strategies and the tools needed to execute a me-first marketing strategy. This is the winning edge. Putting your brand at the heart of your customers. Think of me first, know why my brand is best, and it's truly not that complicated, but we have to remove the blinders. It's no longer BAU, business as usual. It requires us to think holistically. Those are the key elements of the winning edge. It requires balance. I got a lot of words on the screen here. I'm not going to read them all, but you can see everything from personalization and customization to virtual and augmented reality and everything in between has to be balanced as we build a long-term sustaining me-first marketing campaign. Balance is elusive, and so is that winning edge. And if you focus on one element too much and not bring it all into proper context, you're going to be having many challenges getting to that winning edge. So remember modern direct marketing. That means, and here's the key, delivering the right messages to the right audiences through the right channels at the right time. Notice that's plural, not singular. This is truly the heart of me-first marketing, which leads me to talking for a moment about Marketing 4.0, which comes from a book by Philip Kotler, okay, and one that I truly believe in. It's an approach that combines online and offline interaction between brands and customers. In the digital economy, one-channel interaction is no longer significant. In fact, in an increasing online world, offline touch can be a very strong differentiation for your brand. So let's talk about me-first marketing in the age of 4.0. Little history. Marketing 1.0 was product-driven. That goes back to the 1950s and takes us up to about the 80s. Then we had customer-centric marketing, Marketing 2.0, one-to-one marketing, Peppers and Rogers, CRM, all those great buzzwords. That evolved into human-centric marketing when we talked about engagement, involvement, and of course, the experience, which leads to 4.0 where we all meet. And just understand now we have machine-to-machine thinking that has to meet human-to-human thinking. And I don't think we've quite reached a very good balance on that yet. Me First Marketing means we have to engage all the tools that can connect your brand and have a mentality to employ Me First as your primary tactic. Every message has to be relevant, always has to be timely, always has to be targeted to the right audience, and always circle back, because we have to understand those marketing dynamics. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jenny to talk about retargeting and marketing automation. Take it away.
Thank you, Bart. So retargeting, one question I'm like a dog on the bone about is always how. So when you're talking high level and conceptually about marketing, the pragmatist in me is always thinking, okay, then if this needs to happen, how does it work and what do we need to do? So let's expand on those takeaways. So make every message relevant, always be timely, always target the right audience, always circle back. So what we're really talking about here is staying in front of people that have already raised their hands to say that they're interested. And they're doing so with their behaviors. So not what they're telling you, but actually what they're doing. So retargeting is a way to track website visitors that come to specific pages on your website or your website as a whole, identify them and reach out with Me First message with display advertising, email marketing, direct mail, and social ads. And the faster you can serve those to them at the height of relevancy, the more likely you are to engage them and turn them into prospects. And so with retargeting, it's with anonymous visitors. So, they're not authenticated into your website. They're just there. You don't know who they are yet. And it is growing utilization in the US specifically, especially with GDPR and some of the other like data privacy issues. Retargeting is primarily done in the US. You can get in front of visitors on your website at the height of relevancy. So what I mean by that is when they're on your site, the system is tracking them with cookies or non-cookie based, depending on which retargeting tool you're using. And it's identifying them, appending an email address or postal address or digital ID for their device, and targeting them shortly after their engagement with your website. And it's telling your story. So it's driving them to where they're interested in, right? So it's being very relevant in where you're sending them. And you're going to keep telling your story to them with retargeting, and you're going to keep telling your story and then engage them. Like that's the whole goal, is engagement. And when they become disengaged or they're no longer responding, that's when you re-engage. And that way, the ultimate goal is to turn them into a prospect, to turn them into a customer, or to convert them from one step of the process to the next. Okay? And that feeds into marketing automation. Now, the tools and the platforms are separate, but marketing automation is going to take those anonymous visitors and do something with them. So it's automating your marketing activities. And, the whole concept of automating repetitive marketing activities, marketing automation has evolved into a large web-based software platform that integrates CRM, email, web analytics, sales enablement, landing pages, marketing asset library, and all of these tools together enable you to automate your repetitive marketing activities. Initially, the platforms were designed for lead generation and inbound marketing, or a way to lure in prospects. Like that was the original intent. And I know, you're luring them through a funnel. And I know Bart hates that word. Sorry, Bart, but let me rephrase that. Let's create awareness of your brand by engaging them with the content on landing pages and or forums to download an ebook or white paper available in exchange for their information, and educate them on what content you already know they're interested in. And this is going to help with your converting anonymous visitors to your website into prospects and for prospects. So with marketing automation, you also can nurture your customer relationships. And so that's one thing that was taken back from the original intention of marketing automation was for inbound. It was for nurturing prospects to become. But what about your customers? You never want to take them for granted. You're always going to nurture them and know something about them. So with marketing automation, you have a lot of data available that you can take advantage of for your marketing communications. So targeting specifically, targeting them on what you know, what pages they're looking at, and the content that is resonating the most with them. With that, you can be more personalized in your communications to them to make them more relevant and more personal, engaging with them. And the delivery, I can't tell you, I've been in the email space a long time, and the delivery of an email blast, it couldn't be less personalized, right? So when marketing automation platforms allow you to take action shortly after an interaction with somebody with your brand, the is automated and allows you to be off, the right message at the right time. And measuring activity is vital to any marketing automation campaign. So you're measuring activity, but being cognizant and using that information at a timely manner or in a timely manner, that is really the key with marketing automation. Now, marketing automation platforms aren't going to do that for you. You still need to program that in there, but it allows you to do so. And then you can move on. You can look back at your metrics, or wait, don't move on. But taking those metrics into consideration, you need to tweak that communication algorithm that you've developed. You need to tweak it so that way you can re-engage or engage. You can retarget and keep that conversation going by re-engaging with them, knowing some behavioral details on what it is resonating the most with them, with your brand. So in closing, we always want to apply a me first strategy and apply it. It affects every single brand. It is a mindset. You marshal the right marketing 4.0 resources and ask questions. Always ask questions. Always ask why, when, and when you're coming up with your strategies and your campaigns. Listen, learn, and execute. Learning is by far when you learn to listen, it is going to be your sweet spot in your marketing 4.0 strategy. And that concludes today's webinar, but we do have a few, let me check the chat pod here. There are a lot of questions, but we're reaching the top end of our 30 minutes here, so we will answer those questions directly with you. And you can definitely follow up with us. Bart's information is up there. We have his phone number and his email address, as well as my phone number is there with my email address. Please feel free to reach out with any questions that you might have. And be sure to check out the Infinity Direct blog. If you go to infinitydirect.com and click on our blog, you can read any of our intelligent blogs and sign up and read Bart's weekly thought-provoking insights. So there's a sign-up form that you can fill out to receive an email weekly, Monday morning, 7 a.m., never without fail. And have a wonderful rest of your day. All right, and final note that the final webinar in our series is on August 16th, 1 o'clock Central. Marketing intelligence is not an oxymoron. If you have any questions or want to register for that webinar, please feel free to reach out. Have a wonderful day.